Welcome to the Retirement Outsiders Podcast. I'm your host, Steve, and I'm joined by my wife and co-host, Tony. The focus of this podcast is to discuss various retirement topics from an outsider's point of view. In terms of this podcast, an outsider is someone who is not retired, someone who is not a financial advisor, someone who is not a CPA, lawyer, or healthcare advisor. I'm an engineer, and Tony is a teacher. We've been preparing for retirement for several years. We've encountered many different opportunities and obstacles throughout our careers and our paths to retirement. Early on, so much of it was intimidating. Our intent is to make some sense out of all the financial, accounting, estate planning, and healthcare jargon from an outsider's perspective. In addition, we will discuss some of the behavioral aspects that come with not being tied down to a 9-to-5 job. Welcome to the Retirement Outsiders Podcast. Good afternoon, Tony. How are you today?
I'm really good.
Awesome.
Looking forward to not having to go to work on Monday.
Oh, that's right. You got Monday off. Good for you.
President's Day.
Not me. But anyway, let's get started. We're talking about our number one retirement destination, I would say, the Villages.
Yeah, I would agree. This is number one. It's the one we both most agree on, I think.
At least from a specific standpoint.
Yes.
The other ideas are more general. This is a very specific location we're thinking about.
Yeah, if we were looking at like percentages, I would say that maybe staying put is 50-50 with the Villages because we like our people here too.
Yeah. So this is going to be a two-parter for sure.
At least, yes.
Yeah. And today we're going to just discuss what is the Villages. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the history and some of the amenities. But then next time we're going to dig a little bit deeper into the actual homes, the cost of living there, et cetera, right?
Yep.
Okay, so the Villages, what is it? The Villages, it's a 55 and over community located in Central Florida. So 55 and over, we've talked to a couple of realtors down there. It seems like that's a suggestion, not so much a requirement. It's a little
stronger than a suggestion, but it's really, if you've got a nosy neighbor that is not happy about you moving your 17-year-old grandson down there with you, there might be an issue, but by and large, it's not something they're going around policing.
Yeah, I think that people bringing in young kids like that is probably very, very limited, if it even really happens. But I was really referring more to the fact that one person has to be 55 and older.
Supposedly,
number one,
yes.
That's the rule, the soft rule. I get the idea if a 53 and a 52-year-old were to drive down there with cash in hand, they'd sell you a house. So 55 and over community, roughly. That's the basics of it. Where's it at? Central Florida. It's just off I-75, north of Orlando, right near where I-75 and the Florida Turnpike intersect. Having said that, it's between, I think they said 57 square miles. 57 square miles of it is currently developed, and there's 80 square miles total that's part of the community. So the remaining
owned, basically.
Yeah,
okay.
Soon to be developed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty large chunk of land. Roughly 60 miles from Disney, 65 miles from the Orlando International Airport, 85 miles from Tampa International Airport. And then from beaches, since you are in Florida, it's 75 miles from Daytona Beach and 110 miles from St. Pete Beach.
Okay.
So you're inland pretty good.
Yes.
And by design.
Yep.
Great. It's got the great weather. You're shielded from hurricanes by all the land on either side of you. Of course, you can still get into quite the storm, but you're not on the coast where you're going to have storm surge and, homes completely obliterated.
Right.
It is a golf cart friendly community for sure.
I wouldn't even call it friendly. I would say it's almost required.
Yeah, it's designed around getting everywhere and anywhere you need via a golf cart.
Mm-hmm.
There is literally golf cart parking where there would normally be car parking, like little half-size parking spaces. There's certainly car parking as well. Those tend to be a little bit further from the action.
There's gas stations that are set up to just be for golf carts.
Yeah. There are small little gas stations. There are separate paths for the golf carts in most cases.
Mm-hmm.
They generally follow the roadways, but they will go a little bit their own way here and there, just based on how the terrain was and where they needed to construct those.
Yeah, there's golf cart only bridges that go over like highways. There's golf cart only tunnels that go under highways.
Yeah, and it is very well used.
Oh, yeah.
High traffic on these things.
A lot of waving. It's definitely for you Lakers, people who live in the lake communities, it's everybody you pass is getting a little wave. Very friendly.
And one of the things I like about it is they have their own app, which they have essentially a Google Maps version that is for just the golf cart path. So you can, and frankly, you sort of need it, because you do go off the beaten path occasionally. You separate from where the real roads are. But you can, every restaurant, every type of location that's a village's business is in that map tool. So you can say, hey, I want to go here, and it'll essentially do what Google Maps does for you.
The only thing it doesn't do that I wish it would do is play the Benny Hill theme song.
Well, you just have to do that yourself, I suppose.
Okay.
The carts are a real statement piece in most cases, by the way. This isn't the golf carts you would see as rentals in a normal golf cart area, at a normal golf course.
Right.
Plain old white and, generic looking. These things, they get, they customize them quite a bit.
Oh, they do.
Think, NFL team themes, college themes. People make them look like into old cars. There are some that have full doors and fenders, like you're enclosed inside this thing. Yeah,
they've got like rain drapes and things like that go over the roof. Yeah, we the Airbnb we've rented it's a 4-seater. The cart that comes with that one. Yeah. And I think it's got some rain gear that comes on it. We haven't had to use it, but yeah.
No, one of the things that's, it's funny. People get excited about the golf carts, but when we were talking to one of the realtors about just the villages in general, and she mentioned crime, and she said the biggest crime really in the villages is stolen golf carts, and 99% of the time it's accidental because the keys are not as unique as a regular car's keys.
Yeah, they look like mailbox keys.
But yeah, so you can, if you were to go up to 20 golf carts with your key, and one of them's gonna go.
And
Well, yeah, one of them's gonna go though. So, I think that one of the reasons to customize your cart would be to avoid people taking your cart, and B, make it so it's easy for you to find yours.
You see a lot of golf carts with people's names on them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It feels a little like nursery school.
It's imagine. I was going to say more middle school. Okay. Imagine if you were in middle school with all your middle school friends, and you all just had all the money you needed to do whatever you wanted to do all day, and obviously that would be not working and just goofing off. So,
which cereal had the personalized license plates that you could get when we were kids?
That's going too far back. I don't know.
But it's that mentality. I would go there.
So it's this community, right? It's got these golf cart paths and things, but it's really set of neighborhoods. You feel like you're in sort of busy suburbia.
Yeah.
And there's regular stores there, any kind of store that you would ever expect to see in any kind of suburban setting.
Yeah, I'd say you have a block of like 4 or 5 like relatively large neighborhoods, and then there's a strip mall somewhere close that's got the grocery store and the gas station and the drugstore.
Yeah.
And we're talking Publix, CVS, that kind of, they're big names.
Yeah, and there's signs along the highways as you're entering the villages, like, hey, you're in the villages, but there's, some of the neighborhoods will have a gate. I think some of them you might even have to key into, but largely anybody can just drive through there. You can stop, you can enjoy pretty much any of the amenities other than things that you need a membership for, some of the like clubhouses and things like that. But you can go to any of the stores, restaurants, the town squares, anything, and enjoy.
Yeah, it's not a lockout community. In fact, they wouldn't be able to police it, I don't think, if they did a full lockout because it's huge.
Yeah, it'd be annoying to do that.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier, I think, for them to purchase more land and develop more land if you're not worried about trying to encase it securely, right? So, and we've been there twice.
Yep.
The last couple of spring breaks, and we're going back again this spring break as well.
Yep, same place. We've wanted to branch out and go to other places, but in terms of the world of Airbnb, this one, we like the location, we like the house, we like the pool, and so we're going back again.
Yeah, and we'll share some of our pictures on Facebook, on the Facebook site, both from our previous trips, and then of course later in April, after we come back, we'll post some pictures we take on this latest trip.
Yeah, if you have any questions after these 2 episodes, make sure you send those in, and we'll make sure to maybe get pictures if you want to see something or whatever, and we'll make that a priority.
And as I mentioned, so the Villages, it's not a city. It operates through a network of what they call community development districts, CDDs. That's what they call them. There's 14 total of them. They're essentially sized or grouped by neighborhoods, groups of neighborhoods. And I think they're generally created as a new development goes in. They demarcate, okay, these 2, 3, 5 neighborhoods are going to be this new CDD. So a CDD, what is that responsible for? So the CDD is responsible for the roads and utilities, stormwater systems, landscaping of common areas, all the rec centers and the amenities at the rec centers, the streetlights, the sidewalks, all that stuff. The stuff that normally a city or county government would be in charge of. It sounds like the world.
Like a cross between city, county / HOA. Almost.
Yeah, it's like an HOA on steroids, really.
Yeah.
HOAs normally, do maintenance on a pool. They might put up snow removal. They might put up streetlights and pay the electrical bill and do some landscaping at the front of the neighborhood. But the streets and the storm sewers and all that is the city or the county. But in this case, the CDDs operate all that. Law enforcement, courts, fire departments, things of that nature, that's all county responsible. Speaking of county, there's actually 3 counties that make up the Villages, or parts of those 3 counties: Sumter County, Lake County, and Marion County. The vast majority is Sumter County. And if you were to be more and more interested in how these CDDs work, there are monthly orientations in the Villages on the 1st and 3rd Tuesday of every month. So if you really wanted to, dig in and maybe become one of the board members, that'd probably be a great place to start. So speaking of the board, the CDD boards,
I could see you getting into that.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
It depends. I'd rather live in one where I just like the people on the board and they do generally what I would do.
That's not going to happen.
Totally lazy.
You're going to have to be on the board.
Well, okay, let's talk a little bit about the board. So the boards, they're developed, they're fully seated by the developer when they first begin. So before any houses are sold, the land's been purchased, the CDD is created, and the developer just is all 5 seats on that. As it gets built out, and homes go up, people can sign up for the elections. There's an election every 2 years.
Who's voting? People who live in the CDD?
You have to be a full-time resident of that particular CDD.
Okay.
Which I would assume full-time resident means you consider that your residence from a legal basis. I don't think that it would mean that you're not allowed to, spend 2 or 3 months up north or whatever. It's just that that's your main home.
Yeah. So snowbirds would need to be aware as far as where
Well,
You
that
know.
would could potentially factor into some decisions you make,
right.
those rules. So if you're interested in that, like I said, there's an orientation monthly.
So if the CDD is brand new and they're developing everything, how does that CDD board populated?
When they're developing it.
Yeah.
I just told you it's
Oh, you did?
populated by the developer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the villages. They are
Okay.
the board until
Okay.
they've sold all the lots.
Like the way, I mean, that's almost exactly, or probably not even close.
I
It's
shouldn't
how
say
our,
all.
our HOA is the same way.
Yeah, it's got to be like 80 or 90% sold and houses up and
Yeah.
people living in there. So yeah.
Yeah. So we're still waiting for our neighborhood to get populated enough for that. Okay.
So could it become a city?
Interesting.
Legally, yes, it could. The residents and the local legislature and the developer could push things forward and decide, hey, let's make that a city. Practically, the developer effectively has veto power because of how much of the land that they still own. From a voting rights perspective, they would never vote that way unless at some point they decided they didn't want to do it anymore, I suppose.
Is it a 51-49 thing?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Okay.
But I don't know the answer.
Okay.
Right now, the developer has no financial, political, or operational incentive to do it. The costs for the residents are much lower because of the way it's done. And every CDD, given that the people that live there are on the board, they actually go through and they can negotiate prices for things.
Mm-hmm.
And they're negotiating for prices for things directly out of their property tax bill. So they have every incentive to actually do that job well. Whereas city government, I think we all know how city and other governments work. Their incentives are to find ways to line their pockets with tax dollars, not to actually provide services at a nice rate and nice high quality. So
right.
So I find it it's very unlikely that would ever happen unless there's some kind of major change with the developers. They just decide they don't want to own that property anymore. Then something could happen.
Mm-hmm. All right.
The overall cost of living and things like that in terms of owning a home, property taxes, the CDDs, they probably don't sound free to you. And of course, what the CDDs do, they need money to do. So there are taxes that come with that. Mm-hmm. I'm going to cover that on part 2, dive kind of deep into
money.
A couple of different property tax bills. I just went online and found some, the Airbnb we stay at, I found their property tax bill. They're in a more expensive county. I found 2 homes in that county and another home or 2 in an adjacent county. So we'll kind of dig into what those costs really mean and why you might pick
Steve
a certain
had a fun morning.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
He had a fun morning. This is the kind of stuff he loves to find out. Yep.
Good stuff.
So where did the Villages start? I am shocked and amazed to say that I didn't know about the Villages 5 years ago. Never heard of it.
I don't think I did either.
What it was. And now I'm, when we mention it to other, it feels like we're the only people that didn't know about it. Like I've explained it to maybe 2 people in the years that we've kind of gone into looking into it. So it started in the early 60s. A guy named Harold Schwartz purchased some land in Central Florida and began selling mobile home sites. In 1963. So he bought the land and then in 63 named the park Orange Blossom Gardens.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And so
Sounds lovely.
It kind of rolled through the 70s as a mobile home park. Early 80s, he and his son became partners. And then the son basically was the brains behind what we know today as the Villages. He took a struggling park and turned it into a rapidly growing community. And what really changed is the focus changed. It became residential and amenity based. And the amenities are what drew people down there into that specific spot. They added the amenities that we've talked about and we'll talk about a lot more, and golf. And golf is huge down there.
We could probably do a whole episode on golf.
We could do a whole episode on golf. And when we actually go through and Steve tells you how many golf courses are down there, it's going to shock everyone who's listening to this because it does not seem possible. So by 1983, there were around 400 homes. So
Wow.
from beginning, so in 20 years, 400 homes. The big expansion, though, came in the 90s and later. So in the 90s, that was the decade that they really grew the blueprint. 92, the development was renamed The Villages. So it got the name. It expanded really rapidly, and it moved away from mobile homes and into structures, what they call site-built homes. So you're buying the land. You're not just renting the land and putting the mobile home on it, which is what I think most mobile home parks are. Morse, the son, also created the first of the signature town squares, and that's Spanish Springs. So he was the brains behind the let's make a little tiny fake town. Think Back to the Future, like the little town in Back to the Future, like the movie town set. That's kind of the feel of some of these.
What year was that again?
That was, well, it doesn't say when that was built. And 92 is when they named it The Villages. I'm going to guess that came around after that. And then since 2000, it's just gotten, it's just insane. The Villages expanded across 3 counties. We've got Sumter County, Lake County, Marion County. And if you Google map that, you can see what that all is. The majority of them, however, what did you tell me that Sumter County?
I'd say it's probably 90%, just visually, 90% of the square footage anyway.
If the growth continues, I'm going to guess that number's going to shrink. I'm going to guess the percentages in the other counties because I think
so Lake County is on the far eastern side, and so they'd have to go east, which I know there's a lot of wetland and stuff that way. I don't know that they can go very far east. They've been going basically south, which right through Sumter County. I don't know how far south that goes. So I think the next likely thing to happen would be they would go into another new county south of Sumter is my guess.
So the Villages became the fastest growing, this really surprised me, fastest growing metropolitan area in the United States between 2010 and 2020. So in that 10-year span, that place was the fastest growing, which is why I'm surprised that I'd never heard of it before. The population jumped 39%. And so when I did the search and did a little back research on that, it's a little controversial, and I'm not really sure how they're measuring this. So right now, if you Google this, AI says the population exceeds 150,000 residents. However, I also saw something in the 86 to 90,000 range, and it seemed like those were the two numbers that were compared. So I don't know really what the difference is, and you'd think that would be an easy thing to parse out, but I wasn't able to. I don't know if that's like 90,000 home sites or families.
What I saw was 70,000 home sites and 150,000 people, which makes a lot of sense that you would have roughly 2 people per house.
Right.
So I'm assuming that the 150,000 is the most accurate. I found a couple of different numbers too, but the 150 seemed most accurate to me based on the information I found in terms of home sites and just the basic math, a couple people per house. And of course, you have snowbirds and folks like that aren't always there,
right.
but
the people we rent from, the Airbnb people we rent from, they have 3 different places. They've got the Villages, they've got a place in
North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. Yeah. And then they also have an RV that they spend a significant amount of time in. So they are living the life. It is big and growing. And I don't know if you're listening to this and surprised by that number, but yeah, this is not Villages makes it sound like a little quaint whatever, or like, you're one step closer to a retirement home. It's not that.
No, for sure.
It does not feel that way. Or when you're on the street looking for a place to eat breakfast, people look happy.
Agreed. Yeah. And so we talked earlier that this place is massive, 57 to 80 square miles. I think 57 of it is currently developed. So one of the things they've done over time, as they've developed and expanded outward, they've created these town squares again that remind me of those 90s in a lot of ways, those 90s casinos that went up in Las Vegas. They're all themed in some way. The first one, the original one, was Spanish Springs.
Mm-hmm.
So Spanish Springs, as you can imagine, Spanish style architecture. It's got a performing arts center there. It's also got a bowling alley, but then it's got, as all the town squares have, tons of restaurants, shops, by
Convenience
definition.
places.
What's that?
Convenience places, I would say.
Yeah.
Banks.
The Villages has their own bank. I think there's at least one location of those in all the town squares.
Villages realtor sites.
Yep. So there's just tons of daytime and nighttime stuff to do. Every one of the main town squares has live entertainment every single night, every single day. The next one is Lake Sumter. So Lake Sumter's got a nautical / Key West type theme to it.
I think I like that one the best.
It's really cool looking. I mean, it's got a boardwalk.
Mm-hmm.
You're out there on the water. You can get out on the water, take boats out. There's a movie theater at Lake Sumter. Again, all the restaurants and shops, anything you can imagine to hang out and have fun at. Again, another town square area where they have live entertainment every day of the year.
And by the way, that live entertainment is packed.
Oh, yeah.
You're there on a Tuesday. And again, we're going to put some pictures up on Facebook here, maybe in a couple of hours or so. And you can see like the pictures that I took in the town squares. You're talking Tuesday night at like 7 and it's packed.
Yeah. Well, every night is a weekend when you're retired, right?
That's the goal.
The next town square is Brownwood. That's a Western theme, Old West.
Mm-hmm.
They have a large open air stadium style seating event center in their town square.
I actually remember. I was like, I don't remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
Again, all the same things, right? Just different restaurants, places to go, breakfast, lunch, dinner, shopping, all the convenience type places.
There's at least one golf attire store in every town square.
Of course.
Of course.
There has to be. The newest one is Eastport. So I would say they were developing that starting either last year or maybe the fall before, maybe the fall of 2024. That is going to be a European town theme. There's also a lake there, and there's an island out in the lake you can walk out onto. Looks pretty cool. We'll definitely check that out on this next trip. Some of the buildings and things were there last year when we were there, but I don't believe there was any businesses open when we were there.
Is that where we went to look at the houses to do the home show?
It was south of there, but yeah, on that same trip, we kind of went out into the Eastport area, and it was pretty, it was pretty dead. It was being developed, so there wasn't a lot to do out that way. And then the last town square, I'm calling it sort of a +1, is Sawgrass Grove. It's the smallest one for sure. I call it a sort of a mini town square. It does have one, full service restaurant. It's got a rec center with a gym and a pool and all those types of things. There's a marketplace there where I wouldn't call it a full-fledged grocery store, but you can get some groceries there.
Yeah.
There's a golf shop. Again, it's got the outdoor seating area with live entertainment every day, and we'll post some pictures.
Walk-up bar.
Yeah, that Sawgrass Grove one is close to the Airbnb that we've rented in the past, and you've got a good picture of a sign they have out front the one day where it was just all the activities. Was it just for the one day or for the week? Yeah, it's just a full
it was the
board.
month. Well, I'll show you. I'll look at it again.
So we'll post that on Facebook. So those are the 4+1, the 5 main town squares. There's also over 100 recreational centers, which just boggles my mind. And a rec center is going to have, so not everyone has everything, but rec centers, they might have a pool. They might have an exercise facility. The one next to our Airbnb had an 18-hole putting golf course.
And a little side note on the pools, some of the pools are family friendly and some of the pools are adults only. So if you don't have a pool at your home, maybe but you want to be able to go swim, you get that rec center that's got adults only if you don't want to be around a bunch of screaming, splashing children that are visiting their grandparents.
Yeah, exactly. And most of them have at least one or two restaurants. Like I said, pool, exercise facilities. Some of them have shops. So you're never very far.
And we
something to do.
We did day passes at the gym at the one by us, and it was great, and it was busy. That's one of the things I love about the Villages. People are positive. They are active. It feels very health forward and fun forward. So
speaking of visiting the Villages, you mentioned that. So we've been there a number of times, as we've mentioned. So we've rented an Airbnb both times, and we're doing the same thing again this time. If you work with the owners, they'll be more than happy generally to get you guest passes so that you can utilize all those rec centers. Mm-hmm. They can even sign you up for some tee times, golf tee times, if you want to golf. That's a pretty extensive process. I'll cover that maybe in part 2, but hopefully if you're renting, bring that up with the owners of the home, because they would need to help you get a tee time. There are a number of hotels around. I would say that I would definitely recommend an Airbnb over a hotel for the Villages, just because the hotels I've seen aren't particularly, they're not as close as what I would want if I was trying to actually experience the Villages. So
okay.
Also, there's a thing that the Villages does called a lifestyle stay. So you can work with. I forgot
about those.
Yeah, you can actually work with the developers, and they'll set you up with an apartment and all the guest passes and things, and they'll sort of walk you through. They'll get you signed up for activities and things before you get there, and really the whole goal is they're trying to get you to want to buy a place there, right? So they make it as fun as possible. And then if you are going to go, make sure you either rent a golf cart or make sure your Airbnb has a golf cart. Ours does. We have to pay a little bit extra, but just there's no reason to go there without a golf cart.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It is. It's so fun, and it's just great.
Yeah. So that concludes part 1. We'll have part 2 next week. If you have any questions for us, please shoot us an email at retirementoutsiders@gmail.com. Also, if you could help us out and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you listen to our podcast. And if you listen to us on YouTube, if you could like and subscribe to our videos and channel, we'd appreciate it. All right. Thanks for joining us. We hope you'll join us again next time for part 2 of The Villages.